From the heartland of America to every nation on earth, this is Jack Van Impe Presents The Truth in News and Commentary. Here now are Doctors Jack and Rexella Van Impe.
Hello and welcome to Jack Van Impe Presents. I think you're going to agree with me that these are some of the most outstanding headlines that I have ever given to you globally. The first one, I was quite surprised. I'm quoting the president. He said, "Stamp out network of death." Woo, he's taking quite a different stand than he did for a while there. And then going on. This surprises me and grieves my heart. Americans leave home to wage jihad for ISIS. They're joining them. I can't believe that some of our young people would do that. And then Tony Blair, thank the Lord he spoke up. World must take a stand against radical Islam. Thank you, Tony Blair. I appreciate that statement so very, very much. A couple of weeks ago, I made the statement that Jack started his ministry long before I ever met him with Dr. Billy Graham. Jack, you loved those days, didn't you?
Well, we told you we'd be telling you a little bit about our work in those days. We had 800 full-length church crusades, and then we went into mass citywide meetings like Billy Graham, stadiums, etc., and 10 million attended those, and we had 2.5 million saved all through these 67 years. Praise his name. But you know, when you start out as an evangelist, it's tough. People look around and say, "Oh, look what the Van Impes have on television." Well, it was 10 years of hard labor for us and small offerings, little churches. And in the Graham Crusades, you'd see him say, "If you want Jesus, raise your hand." And we did the same thing, following him. Well, this new evangelist couldn't make it financially, so he got a summer job as a lifeguard. And the first week, the board that ran the place said, "What is wrong? 4 guys died this week. They drowned. Let's see what he's doing." So they're sitting there watching him. And he's up there, the lifeguard, you know, and guys out there, "Help, help, help, help." He said, "God bless you, I see that hand." Oh, boy. I can just see some guys like that in the ministry. Let's go on, Annie.
You know, Jack, those days were good for me, though. They really helped me to grow in the Lord. I was from a church of 2,000 people, and to see some of the smaller churches and how they had to grow, it blessed my heart, Jack, and praise the Lord.
Revivals for a whole week in the living room of some guys' houses.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know, friends, in a series of appearances, President Obama outlined a very different U.S. approach to the Middle East than he previously had. I'd like for you to please take a look at this first headline. U.S. presses for world to act. Whoa, that's a different stand than he was taking for a while. And then Obama urges coalition to battle militants. Get together and go against them. Again, Obama, unite against terror. And this is what he had to say to the United Nations. Forces all terrorists understand, Obama says. There's quite a change there, friends. I think that you'll recognize that. I'm going to ask Jack, why the change, Jack? Why did he say we've got to come against them right now?
Well, first of all, he said, after I saw these 2 Americans beheaded by these Muslims, he said, I became angry. And I thought, I'm going to do something about it. Yeah, Mr. President, there were 500,000 Christians slaughtered. The Chaldeans. You didn't do a thing about that. And they even cried in Washington in March, "Obama, where are you? Obama, where are you?" The answer back then probably was the golf course or a fundraising meeting for the Democrats for the next election. He thought that by bringing home all the boys, everyone would be satisfied, but it didn't help. His ratings dropped to 34%. And then when the Americans realized that ISIS might come here and start slaughtering us on the streets and beheading us here, as has been done recently, they said 68%. We want to do something. And so he read the figures and saw the light.
Jack, I really appreciate something that he hasn't done for all of us. He's enlightened us as to the time we are living, pointing to the coming of the Lord. It's so significant. Somebody else did this too. And I'd like to put something on the screen by Bishop Loud of London, England. He proclaimed the message of Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39 in 1713. Can you believe that one?
This is dynamite. Ezekiel's prophecy, without question, relates to the latter ages of the world, when Israel shall return to their own land. Rosh signifies those inhabitants of Scythia, from whence the Russians derive their name. This formidable invasion of the land of Israel God will defeat. The Persians, Iran and Iraq, and Afghanistan from the east, the Ethiopians from the south, and the Moors, Libyans from the west, shall join with Rosh in this invasion. This is from one of the leaders of England's churches, one of their bishops 313 years ago, and I accept every word of it. It's what I've been teaching, and you're going to hear it today. And it all ties in with why this war is on and why it means Jesus is about to return, the second coming of Christ.
All right, Jack, before I go on with this dynamite headlines that I've chosen for you today, I want to just pick three things out of what Bishop Loud said. Number one, Israel shall become a nation. Jack, they were a nation for many, many hundreds of years.
Oh, this is powerful. People say, we've always heard those signs from Matthew 24, wars, rumors of wars, etc. That's not what Jesus said. You've missed it. He said in Matthew 24, verse 32, learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and breaks forth the leaves, you know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when you shall see all these signs in connection with the budding of the fig tree, that's when I'm coming back. What? Who's the fig tree? Joel 1:7. Israel's at war and said, they have stripped our fig tree, our nation. In Hosea 9:10, he's talking about the first fathers of the nation of Israel, and he calls them the first fruits of the fig tree. So no doubt about it. Now what Jesus is saying is, I will only come when you see all of these signs, wars, rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, every sign here connected with Israel being a nation and controlling Jerusalem. This is spine-tingling. They became a nation in 1948 and captured Jerusalem in 1967. So for 2011 years, Russia could not invade them. And that is found 18 times in chapters 38 and 39. Chapter 38, verses 8, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19. Chapter 39, verses 2, 4, twice, and 7. 9, 11, 12, 17, 22, 23, 25, and 29. They couldn't invade them. There was no Israel to invade. That's why we are the generation, because now they can, and now there's a Russia, and now they're in control of Jerusalem, and the World War III, called Armageddon, Revelation 16:16, is fought over the dividing of Jerusalem, which is going on right now. We are the generation. Look up, he's coming.
Well, that's the only thing that's encouraging. Yeah. So many people say, Rex, the headlines. But I'm going to say the good news is that it points to the return of the Lord. Jesus is coming again. Now, one quick question here before we go on to those dynamic headlines. The Persians. Bishop Loud pointed out the Persians. Who are they? They join with Russia. Who are they, Jack?
Well, that's Iran and Iraq. But I'm not going to get into all of this right now. If you want to study this, I'll go slowly on this. Look at Daniel 11:40, Isaiah 17:1, Ezekiel 38, verses 5 to 7, and Psalm 83, verses 5 to 7. And you know why they're marching to Jerusalem? Get it? Psalm 83:4, let us cast Israel off from being a nation, that their name be no more in remembrance. But you're not going to win, because God says, I'll give Israel an everlasting name, Isaiah 56:5. But one thing, boy, this is exciting. I just saw it a few weeks ago. Wow, listen to this. This bird who heads it all up, this head honcho, Abdu Baghdadi, named his organization originally ISIS, Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. And, of course, that includes southern Turkey. Where does World War III begin? Right there! What? It's called Armageddon, Revelation 16:16, and it's declared and defined in Revelation 9:14-18. And the term angels here, I'm changing to demons. Loose the 4 demons in the great river Euphrates to slay a third part of mankind. And the number of the army was 200,000, 200 million. And by these 3 was a third part of men killed. Fire, smoke, brimstone. Where does the Euphrates run? Right through Iraq, Syria, and southern Turkey. Exactly where Armageddon's going to be fought, where the world's going to die. Now, this guy's not going to make it. He's going to be defeated. You watch and see. There will be a peace contract. It'll only last 42 months, Daniel 9:27, and then all hell breaks loose. And the verses I just quoted about the demons being loosed and the third part of the world's population dying is then. That's how near it is. But then Jesus comes back to put a stop to all this destruction. Revelation 11:18. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And the Prince of Peace will change things here. Come back, Jesus.
Jack, I'm glad you went through all that again, because we need to have our minds refreshed as we read the newspapers. But I have to confess, what I'm going to give you now has moved my heart probably more than most of the things that I have read about our present day situation. The past few months we've been made aware that many men and women are leaving their homelands, not just America, but many countries, to go back to Syria and join the radical jihadists. Well, let's consider America
Traitors
first.
and turncoats, Rexella.
America first. Take a look, please. Americans leave home to wage jihad for ISIS. Hey, in Minneapolis, you know what happened? This young man left 9 children and his wife behind to go over there. Islamic State recruits female jihadists in U.S. heartland. And then again, Al-Qaeda magazine hints of a looming attack on America. Oh my, can you imagine that our young men and women are going over there to fight for them, Jack?
Now, remember the name Alaki? He was killed by a drone in Yemen. Do you know that he was an American who left our land to go and join the Islamic terrorists and kill as many Americans and others as he could? In fact, he put out a paper called Inspire and sent it to all the Muslim-situated mosques in the country, right here in Dearborn. And in one of the issues, I read it, he said, I want all you young people to start getting trucks and putting blades on the front of them and running through the crowds and slicing them up. God forgive these wicked warriors.
Jack, I should say, my oh my. And then we're going to go on with another one here that surprised me. It has to do with the visas of students. Lost in America, visa program struggles to track missing foreign students. Let's take a closer look. The immigration agency's own figures show that 58,000 students overstayed their visas in the past year. Of those, 6,000 were referred to agents to follow up because they were determined to be of heightened concern. Can you believe that one? They better be concerned because of the 6,000 are missing. They don't know where they are. You know, Jack, I think they caught some of them too.
Caught 26, and they were getting bombs ready to strike America. Suicide bombers. God help us. Now, they don't know where they are. But let me give you more figures. They came on these student visas. Where are they? Nobody knows. And furthermore, there are 9,000 colleges that offer this to them now. And as of 2002, we had 67,000 here in those schools. And last year, we had 1,200,000. God help America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, when these monsters get here and start slicing away. God, we need you. We need a Holy Ghost revival. We need to awaken these preachers who never open their mouth, never warn their people, and someday they'll enter our churches, and as they've done all through all those nations over there where the Christians were, marched into their churches, bombed their churches, cut off their heads. Preacher, someday they may watch in your church. What are you going to do? What will you tell?